Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today this is probably going to be a long video. I mean, you can obviously see how long it's going to be. But I'm going to do my March wrap up and then my April TBR, and my April TBR is so long. It's like 20 books or something. Yeah, but I did read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books in March. So I'm gonna, or 9. 9 books in March. Hopefully, might be 8. We'll see. But I'm gonna go through them first. I have most of them here. Yeah, let's just go straight into this. The first book I finished, I started this in November. Crazy. This was a buddy read with my very dear friend Ira, who I've actually met, and oh my gosh, she's so lovely. I'm going to mention a lot of people in this video, by the way, so everyone will be linked down below, so please go follow them and show them some love because I love them all. But yeah, we both decided we want to read this, and then it took me months upon months upon months. I went weeks at points without reading this for some reason, and ended up being a 5-star read and one of my favourite books of all time. And that's the video I'm gonna make coming out next week. So I'm not gonna go too much into detail on this one today and my thoughts on it. I'm gonna save that for that video instead. But this Babel, this book. Yes. As you can see, I started to annotate it because I started physically reading it. So I just tabbed things I loved and things that I thought was sad. But then I realized I need to take my time with this and annotate it properly. So I do have a little key of like a post-it note of what I want to annotate when I do reread it, because I need to reread this hopefully soon. And yes, if you haven't read it yet, please go read it, and then I'll give you more thoughts and everything in my next video. But this brought back my love for reading, because January and February were January was really good, February was so slow, and then I finished this and then it just went on and it was so good. So I can't wait to rant about this for like too long, most likely. The next book I finished was The School, which I talked about in my last video, and that is the Oresteia, I'm gonna call it Oresteia, by Aeschylus. So this one includes Agamemnon, Libation Bearers, and Eumenides. It was okay. In the end, it came out as a 2-star read. All in all, I did not care for this book, or this place rather. I don't know if I didn't. My favorite, I think, was Agamemnon actually. Yeah, that was a 2.5. The rest was just not good. And I know it's really famous and I know it's really popular and that every ancient classics major person reads this. It was just so boring. It was like 50 pages of nothing happening, unless the next one I'm going to talk about, where I just, yes, loved it. This was just so boring. But in this is the only, for those who don't know, this is the only trilogy that we have preserved from the ancient world. And we follow Agamemnon, who you might know from the Iliad, as he comes back home to his wife Clytemnestra. I cannot say her name, I'm so sorry. But yeah, as he comes back home from the war and basically his fate, in this trilogy of plays. And then you follow Orestes in Libation Bearers and Eumenides, as well as a bit of Electra, but Electra doesn't play a big part in it. But it was so boring and nothing happened, and I would not recommend this if you've never read any classic ancient Greek tragedies. This is not where I would start. I would start with Medea by Euripides. I read all of these now, so you can probably tell it's very tabbed up. And this includes Medea, Hecate, Electra, and Heracles. Or in Greece, it's not Hercules, it's Heracles. And this is so good. I've read Medea twice before. This was one I read for school because we had an assignment where we would talk about Greek tragedies or Greek plays in general, and I chose tragedy, obviously. So I chose Medea, and even my teacher knew I was going to choose Medea. It was like not a big secret that was what I was going to choose. But then last week I was away all week, and so I brought this thinking I might just finish the rest of the plays. And Hecate, oh my god, Hecate is so good. Why haven't I read that? Yeah. And then both of those were 5-star reads, and then I gave Electra was a 3-star read and Heracles was a 2.5. So overall the score was 3.75. In these we basically just follow so many different people. Medea is about Medea, who it takes place, if you know Jason and the Golden Fleece, you might know Medea. She's basically Jason's wife, and this is like her revenge story on Jason. It's the best revenge story ever. Hecate is about the Trojan queen, who basically is just depressed and sad, and she's the former Trojan queen. She's just sad and depressed. That's basically all that is. It's so good. Electra is, as I said, Orestes' brother and Agamemnon's daughter. So we get to follow, it's basically the same as Libation Bearers, but with a different author and a different take on it. I preferred this one. And Heracles is Heracles coming back home after he's done his 10 labours. And what happens, if you don't know Greek myth and what actually happens to Heracles, I'm not going to spoil it. But these are all tragedies, so they're obviously all very sad and depressing and heartbreaking. But yeah, Hecate and Medea were the two I would recommend everyone read. The next one I read is for my continuation of reading every work that a few authors have put out, and that was Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte. My goal is to one day read every book, well, everything that's been published by Bronte sisters. This was my third. Yes, I read Jane Eyre, I read Wuthering Heights, so this was my third book. My first by Anne, obviously. This book is okay. It was a 2.5 star read. It's okay. It's not the best. It's not the worst. But I didn't see that this was not as good as Jane Eyre and Wuthering Heights, both of which are like in my top favourite books of all time. This was just quite boring in a sense, and didn't strike me as good. I think it's a good book, but it's just not the best. I think that the topics that Anne takes up in this is very important, both back in the day and even today. This follows Agnes Grey, obviously, who decides to become a governess, and just her view on being a governess and how hard that is and how like isolated you become. And I think I've been an au pair myself, so I can really relate. I had a really good family, but like the isolation I can really relate to, because you don't really have much to do other than doing chores and taking after kids. So yeah, do I recommend it? Yeah, sure. If you want to read all of the Bronte's work, but if not, this is one you can definitely just skip out on. Next one, I did finally get to Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by her before, and I loved it. This, I feel like, was too overhyped. Please don't at me. I didn't really fall in love with anyone until the end. The end broke me. I was sobbing at the end. Especially when, without spoilers, we get to know who the author is. That broke me, and I was like, oh, okay, from there on out I was just sobbing. But it was just not that good. I don't see why people give it 5 stars. I'm very sorry, it wasn't for me. I listened to an audiobook. But yeah, I did not see it, sadly, because I wanted to. But I didn't. I couldn't. I gave this a 3.5 in the end. And for those who have missed this, and what Daisy Jones and the Six is about, it's about Daisy Jones is an artist, and then the Six is a band, and then how they basically work together and their time in the spotlight back in the 60s, 80s, 60s and 70s. It's okay. The next book I finished was Follow by Tessa Bailey. This was a 2-star read. Oh my god. No. And I can't really tell you why I didn't like it. I just didn't. I just could not stand this book. 2 is still quite a high rating, but you know, it's not the best. But we follow, I don't even remember her name, who, to save her brother, has to bring this mafia boss's son back to New York. Yeah, I think it's the plot. I just, no. No. It just felt like they didn't really have any characteristics. Like, they just, no, they didn't have any sort of character development or anything. It was just like, oh, we're in love now, yay. I don't know. I do not know. I'm not going to talk more about this book because it's not worth my time. And I read My Killer Vacation last year by Tessa Bailey, and I love that. So I've not given up on her as an author. It's just this book didn't vibe with me, but I know this is one of her older works. This is from 2017, so maybe that's why. I don't know. The next book I finished, oh my god. This book. Will I ever recover? No, I will not. I wish I had a physical copy so I could show you, but I don't. Very sadly, I'm gonna buy a physical copy because I need a physical copy. This comes from a new friend of mine, Elijah, who I saw one thing she posted in We Are Both Part of the A Court of Tattoos and Rosés podcast Discord. And so I saw her sending a message about a certain thing that happens in the book, and I was like, I'm gonna read this book. I'm gonna read this book. And we had planned on by reading the book, which I'm gonna talk about. So we were already talking, and I was like, okay, I saw you recommended this book. We'll talk about this book. I'm so picking it up. And she screamed at me to do it, so I did it. And oh my god, the first line alone had me hooked. And then I finished it in like 3 sittings or something. It was so good. But the book is Black Sheep by Bryn Weaver and Alexa Harlow. Where do I get myself an Eli? I need one, please and thank you. And a Brian. And a Samuel, please. Thank you. I want some more, please and thank you. Oh, I wish I had an uncle like Samuel. I'm not going to talk too much about this book because it instantly went in my favourite books of all time. So that's going to be in next week's video as well. I'm sorry. But short synopsis, we follow Briar, who is a psychology student who's also a serial killer. Yes, already there. I was hooked. And then she's writing her thesis, I think it is. And so she presents this to her thesis. You can't write a thesis, you have a thesis. She has a thesis that she basically wants to present to Dr. Elijah Kaplan. Elijah, oh my god. Oh, where do I get one? I need one. And he instantly falls in love with this woman. They like see each other at a coffee shop, and he's like, I want this woman. I need this woman. And then he realizes she's kind of a student, potential student, and he doesn't date students because he has rules. Obviously, this is not dating. Dating is the wrong word. I'm gonna talk more about that next week, I promise. But it was so good. And as soon as I finished it, I was crying, by the way. As soon as I finished it, I wanted to restart it again because it was so good. That was a 5-star read. Yes. The next book I finished was The Girl of Ink and Stars by Kieran Millwood Hargrave. This is a middle grade book, and it was a quick audiobook just to finish up a prompt for the Accord of Tattoos and Roses Discord book club thing. So basically they gave us 3 prompts, and we needed to read these 3 prompts and then give a short review. So this was my book choice for a book with star in the title. This book was another 2-star read. It just... no. And it's not that it was middle grade, because I think middle grade is fine. It was just... no, I felt like we didn't get any backstory. We follow this book, Isabella, who lives on some island, and her father is a cartographer. And basically no one's explored the island they live on for some reason. And there was just no background to why things happened. And then the end was just so rushed, and I felt like there was just nothing really to grab onto. These characters, I didn't really care. It was just not that good, and I cannot fully describe why. But I've read a few reviews, and most say that the ending just was not for them, and yeah, no, it just felt so rushed, so out of nowhere. But yeah, I've read it now. It's been on my TBR for years because I've had an Audible for years, and I just, no, this was not for me. and I don't think the writing was really good either. It didn't really capture me. And I know it's easy to say, oh, it's a middle grade, that's why. No, because a middle grade can be really good. Ask my friend Jessica. She reads so much middle grade. She's had a middle grade madness in March. She reads middle grade. I need to ask Jessica. Jessica, DM me good middle grade recommendations, thank you. The last book. Sorry, Jessica, for calling out. The last book I will also talk about next week. I've not finished it yet. It's a reread, but I will finish it today. It's my goal, it's my aim, it's my... I just need to finish it today for reasons, which I shall discuss. It's Phantom of the Opera by Cassandra Roe. My favourite book of all times. I will never stop talking about this book. I might just make a whole video ranting about this book. If you want me to rant about this book for a whole video, tell me down below, because I happily will. If no one wants that, I will just talk about it for way too long next week. But yes, it was a reread because I felt the Phantom calling. I basically started it because I went to London and I saw the show by Andrew Lloyd Webber for like the billionth time. I've seen it like too many times. It's over 70. Yes, I am insane. And I wanted this one signed by the Phantom at that point. It's his last day today as this video goes up, sadly. Because he came back for a short run, so I had to go to London to see him because he's one of my favourite fandoms of all time. And so I wanted him to sign this, but then me and a friend stage doored and he didn't come out, which is fine. Like, I completely understand. But yeah, I didn't get it signed. And then I just didn't finish it at that point. But yeah, this is my new copy. My old copy is in my bedroom. And it's butchered and has my old annotation style in it, and I wanted this to have my new annotation style in it, but just now it is heavily annotated. Like, it's insane. So this is gonna be finished today. Obviously, it's a 5-star read. It always will be. It lives forever in my heart. But that was all the books I read in March. Oh my god. Now we're going to talk about all the books I want to read in April. Send help. There are too many. But I'm going to start with all the books that I have started and have not finished. These are my priority. These are priority books. Yeah. These before like anything else. Apart from a few other books. The first one is I'm Annalisa by Natasha Salmonson. It's a really good book. I just don't know why I keep putting it down, because it is really good. I'm really enjoying it. So I think this weekend I might take time to read this and just finish it, because it is gorgeous. So gorgeous. Next one is Anna Karenina. One day I will finish this book. I am 275 pages in. It is nearly 800. It is over 800. It is 817 pages. I'm listening to this on audiobook at the same time. This started as a buddy read with my very good friend Rue. Love her. She's finished it. She's good at finishing the Russian classics. I'm not. I love the movie from 2012 with Keira Knightley. I just cannot stand Levin. I know people love him. I cannot stand him. And Rue has told me that I can skip Levin. So I might just have to do that, because every time Levin shows up, I'm just like, no, I don't want this. I don't want you. Go away. So I might have to do that. Or just speed up his chapters even more, because I am listening to it on audiobook at this point, just to get through it while reading it. April will be the day will be the month of the Russian classics and me finishing them. because me and Rue, normal as we are, can't stick to not reading depressing Russian literature. So we're also buddy reading Dr. Zhivago. This one I'm excited for. I've seen the musical version a few years back, and it was so good. The cast was outstanding, also concert version in London. And I think this is going to be one of my favourite books of all time once it's finished. Hello, Taps. But yes, I started last week. I've read part 1, some 19 pages in. I just wanted to hold off a bit on it before I kept reading it, but I will keep reading it now. And most likely will blow through it. I think I'm going to do a reading log on this as well. Because, yeah, I think that could be fun to do a reading log of this, because I feel like I will have a lot to say. The next book I started on my own in March, because I needed to get back into the series. I read the first book and loved it, and then didn't continue on with the next one. Why? I don't know. Well, I started the second one, and then I never finished it. I don't know why. But then one of my mutual Instagram friends, one of my mutuals on Instagram rather, said that she wanted to read as well, so we decided to both read it. So I'm going to buddy read this lovely book, Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, by Jennifer L. Armentrout. It is the second book in From Blood and Ash series with Sierra on Instagram. I'm going to buddy read it with her. So I've hold off a bit on this book just to wait for her to basically catch up. I'm like 100 pages in or something. Yeah, 98 pages in. So I'm just holding off to continuing until she's caught up. And then we can discuss it, and I'm so excited. If you can't tell already, April will be full of buddy reads, and I have too many, and I love you all. I'm so excited for all my buddy reads. There's just a lot of buddy reads right now. The next book, I'm determined to finish it. I am determined. It's my reread of Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I'm a good way through. I've made a dent. I just need to sit down and just read it. But I just don't want the series to end, but I want the series to end. But yeah, goal is finish this in April. I'm not going to talk more about it because I didn't my last video. Then we have some physical books that I want to get to. Hopefully, send help. The first one is Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. I want to finish this. I want to finish it. I haven't started it. I want to read it. I want to read it so badly. It's just been on my TBR for ages, and I just want to read this because I want to know how it differs from the Ghibli movie. So I'm really excited for this one, and I feel like this will be a really quick read because the font is really big and it's a middle grade, so you can't be that hard to read. Next one, I don't want to, but this is on my 23 for 2023, and I have all of those books that I own in physical form wrapped up. My friend, IRL friend, lovingly wrapped them up for me so that I couldn't pick and choose. I just take one. She even organised them, so they're on my TBR card. And I just pick one and I read them in that order. There's Dracula. This is next week on that challenge. I have tried like 3 times and I just cannot get into it. This time I'm determined. I'm gonna make a reading vlog about this and I'll talk more about it then. Next one is another buddy read with Ira, which might not happen in April because I know she's really busy in general this month, which is fine, but I know she's really busy. But that is Anatomy by Dana Schwartz. I want to read it so badly, so I might read it before she does. Sorry, love. But yeah, I'm really excited for this one. It's been on my radar for since it came out because I love Dana Schwartz podcast Noble Blood. But yeah, and it's like Victorian, Edwardian. I think it's Victorian. It's Victorian. And in Edinburgh, you know, I'm just yes. So hopefully this month or in May. Next one is another buddy read with Rue. Okay, both of the next ones are buddy reads with Rue. I'm not talked to her about these. Oops. I just want to get to these soon. So, sorry, Rue. Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Kokum Laws. Oh my god. I need to read this book. I am so excited for this book. I've heard such mixed reviews on this, but I feel like April is a good month for this, and I cannot explain to you why. I have no idea why. I feel like this is a spring book, but it is for me. So, and I want to read it. It's calling my name. So hopefully in April for this one. Next one is a big reason to why I wanted to finish Phantom of the Opera, and that is Phantom by Susan Kay. I have tried. I cannot read this on my own, so Rue, I love you, has decided to buddy read this with me so that I have someone to scream at. Because I need someone to scream at with this. And oh my god, this is going to be reading log, trust me. So I'm not going to go too much into detail in this one. But yes, I've tried, I get mad, I need someone to scream at who feels the pain and also reads it. Hence why I have Rue. What? Yes, I have Rue to scream at. I mean, she's screaming at me all morning about Star Wars, so I get screamed at Phantom. It's just what we do. Also, ruin Rue with like everything. Sorry, Rue, I love you. And then I have, oh my god, I have so many more buddy reads. I'm gonna go through those first. The first one is a buddy read. This is the one me and Elijah, who I was talking about earlier with Black Sheep, we decided we were gonna buddy read this, and I'm so excited. Also the big reason that I want to finish Phantom of the Opera today. As I'm filming this is yesterday for you guys. That is Phantom by Green Rivers, which is apparently a modern take on Phantom of the Opera with a lot of smut. Sounds right up our alley. So I'm so excited to read this. I'm so excited about to read with Elijah because I feel like we are on the same level when it comes to books and reading. And we just noticed the same things and we just scream at each other. Me reading Black Sheep was just me screaming at Elijah. It was amazing. Next up I have How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. This is going to be a buddy read with Jessica and Rue, the ultimate buddy reading duo. I love buddy reading books with these two. We always have such lovely discussions and such a lovely time buddy reading books. And I know Rue posted yesterday. I'll see if I can place it here, but how Rue and Jessica will be like terrified and then help me in the corner being like, not bothered at all because nothing scares me, which is true. Very few things scares me, and I'll be in the corner being like, well, it was meant to be scary. Yeah, but yeah, I love buddy reading with Rue and Jessica. It's the best times. And our little book club thing is called Cheap Thrills. yeah, I love you guys so much. I'm so excited. And this will also be my first Greedy Hendrix. I've heard a lot about Greedy Hendrix, never read any of their works. My last body read will be Another Country by James Baldwin with Val, aka Val's Library on Instagram. I wanted to read this because of Pedro Pascal. It's apparently one of his favorite books, and obviously Pedro, we listened to him. He's recommended Jane Eyre and he's recommended Master and Margarita, two of my favorite books of all time. Tune in next week for me ranting about those two. So I'm really excited for that one. I've heard about James Baldwin, I've never read him. And the book sounds really good and really intriguing, so I'm really excited about that. Then I have two more books. The first one is Does It Hurt by H.D. Carlton. Jessica told me she didn't finish this, she DNF'd it, and that I should read it because she needed to talk to someone about a scene, and I was like, okay, I'll read it. So I've gotten in an audiobook. So we'll see what happens. I'm really intrigued by the chat we had about it. And then Elijah makes her long-awaited reappearance. It's been too long. She said that I should read this book as well. I've got my friend who never reads into reading, especially smart. So I asked Elijah for book recs because it's basically all she reads. So I asked her, like, hi, do you have a list? And she was like, yes, these. Go read them. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna add all this to my own TBR. And she said that this one was the one that we should go for first. So I'm very much looking forward to it. And there's Praise by Sarah Kate. And I mean the cover alone. Yes. The synopsis, yes. So this is definitely gonna be read in April, if not at the beginning. It's like really soon because I need to read this. I'm so excited. So that was too many books. April is like my last month in school before I'm doing my dissertation for this year. I'm doing like a paper. So it's not my dissertation, it's a big paper that I'm doing in May. So April is like the last month I have before I need to dive into research and stuff. So I'm gonna try and read as much as I can. But it's a lot of books, which is fine. I'm back in my reading mood. So I'm really excited. But yeah, it's just, it's so many books, so little time. And everyone that I've mentioned will be linked down below, I promise. So please go follow them. They're all lovely, lovely people. I love all of you guys so much. Thank you for buddy reading with me. Rue, thank you for always doing what I tell you to do. So, yeah, I've made so many love friends over on Instagram, and I can't wait to buddy read all of these books with you guys. It's gonna be so much fun. Next week I'm going to do a video about my favourite books of all times. That's probably going to be very long, because I have quite a few, and yeah, I have so much to say about all of them. So I'm gonna see you guys then, and I hope you have a lovely week until then, and yeah, take care. Bye guys.